Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the 135 Footy Show, proudly part of the WesWes Network. You can go check us out over at our new home on YouTube, WesWes Sports. But yeah, round one done. There's a lot of NRL news on and off the field to get into. We're going to break it all down with also Bob Savalier. Welcome, Urs. How you been, man?
Yeah, how's it, bro? Good. I've been good. It's been a busy week of work, but equally busy week in the rugby league world. So let's get into it.
Yeah, nice, Urs. Feeling happy. We got the dub for the week, so it's a great start to the season. So nice and positive this week. We'll try and keep it that way for most of the eps. But let's get straight into it. Also, let's go to the good stuff first. Your All Eyes Player of the Weekend. Player of the Weekend. Also, what you got?
Yeah, there were a few people that sort of stood out in this on last week's games. But for me, I'm going to keep it all Warriors Central, man, and give my flowers to Tana Boyd. We spoke about him the week before that he really needed to sort of take the reins, and not sit back and wait for Luke Metcalf to get healthy and come back. Like, he needed to step up, he needed to take control of the team, and I feel like Tana did that, man. He did everything right. He varied his game up. He was doing the sort of stuff that you really wanted Shaun Johnson to do every game. The whole kicking game, the running game, the awesome passes, putting people into space, like all of that stuff that you knew Shaun could do. Shaun never really did that consistently. And especially in games that were really tight, you wanted Shaun to do stuff like that. And Tana, man, that guy did it in spades in that first round game. So, picked up a try, kicked 7 goals, 2 try assists, a line break, 2 tackle breaks, kicked for 354 meters. And, the most interesting thing about that stat is that against a really proven combination in the halves for the Roosters, like Sam Walker, DCE, those guys are super experienced, been there, done that. DCE, man, he's been like a premier halfback in the competition for well over a decade now, and he got outshone. I don't know whether it was the occasion for him, first hit out as a Rooster, but it was real average, man. And just looking across their kick meters, DCE was 129, Sam Walker was 123, and so those guys combined kicked less than what Tana Boyd did for the game. So not only did Tana have a really exciting running game in that variation that we were talking about, but man, he kicked that ball and kept the Roosters pinned down in their own half for the majority of that game. So this week, all eyes for me goes to Mr. Tana Boyd.
Nice. Yeah. Real exciting. Like you were saying, we're looking forward to, him owning this team. And yeah, man, just really just took that New South Wales form. Like, you've seen him do it at that level. And like you said, to shine against the Roosters side like that, they'd done that combination, so you can't take anything from preseason. But we were nervous about seeing that combination. Sammy Walker gets shut down, DCE stepped up, so that as much as we look really good, they looked a bit not horrible, but just a bit soft in that middle. So nice call on that. Tana Boyd. Hopefully he pulls it off again this week. I'm going to go with my all eyes over to another one of the halves, Ethan Sanders, in the Golden Point game. Right from the start. So, he's new there, just trying to fit in with the loss of Fogarty, especially against that team. But Ethan Sanders, and just his defense even as well, just from the beginning of that game, some huge tackles he was having to make one-on-one against All Clark. Just some of those balls when he's hitting it, and Sanders is there, the little guy on the end of it. And to ice that field goal at the end, my flowers go to Ethan Sanders, just for the effort and what was a really big game. So that's my all eyes prize right there. Coming back to you, your Kaea Kele.
Kele. Well, there were a few contenders for Kaea as well for me in that first round of games. I mean, there were those real blowout games, the Eels against Storm, Roosters
Sharks.
against us, Sharks, far out. There were so many. But for mine, and this isn't a theme of mine where I'm just picking on this team constantly every week. And it might seem that way, but for legitimate reasons. My guy killer this week goes to the unfortunate Brisbane Broncos, the reigning premiers who've had a terrible start to the NRL campaign. And this is off the back of them losing that World Club Challenge against Hull Kingston Rovers, and they've started their domestic comp now back home. There's been a lot of talk that these guys are going to go back to back, but that first round game that they played against the Panthers, it was an opportunity to really set their benchmark super high and to put a stamp on the competition, especially against quality opposition with the Panthers. But the Broncos, man, they were terrible. They had 61% completion, and if I look at other teams who had really low completion rates that are similar to theirs, like Parramatta 63, the Finns 65. They missed so many tackles. They had 37 missed tackles, 19 errors. It was very unlike Brisbane to start that way. Yes, I know it was a challenging opposition against the Panthers, but those are the games that you want your teams to sort of step up and measure yourself. Really. And I know competitions aren't won in the first round, but man, if they are, the Broncos are putting their hand up to contest with Manly that wooden spoon. So Kele for me, man, is just the Broncos. They were just super disappointing. And no hate, those Broncos brothers that are good friends of ours. I'm just saying, they were the only team that were kept scoreless the whole weekend. So, come on. Kele's got to go to the team that gets the big four more for the week.
Broncos. That's harsh forever. So I must be dying to jump on the airwaves again. But I agree, they were horrible. There were so many mistakes. It must have been hard watching for the Broncos fans. If you sum up their performance in one play, it's that Reece Walsh kicking the ball up the arse of Xavier Willison. What was that? That's how shambolic they look. That pretty much is the epitome of what that game was. Just all over the show. And just disappointing because I had so many Bronx in my fantasy team. So that's, I agree, because we'll get into that. But man, these guys just ruined it for me. Good call. It was a lot of harsh games, and yes, it is round one, but they need to get up for that, especially with all the talk. I don't know what's going on there. There's so much talk coming out there with Haas leaving, Renault retiring, Ben Hunt now benched after that, whatever that late change they did after round one. Talks of Carrigan looking at PNG. So I don't know what's going on. Pia Kura, I don't know if that's an injury or if he's out of favor as well. So it seems to be a lot happening over there with all this murmur of Madge's second year hoodoo. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll get into more of the Broncos as the season goes. Let's jump straight into headlines also, because there's a lot of them. First off, hopefully, we said last week that's probably the last we hear about Lomax. Maybe this is the last time we'll talk about Lomax. So Lomax officially has left the NRL and has joined and signed with the Western Force to, in Lomax's words, join a truly international game. I don't know if that's a slap at the NRL to be like, you guys try and go all around the world, but you're not actually international. So I don't know if this guy leaving and still doing a bit of haterade as he's left. So your thoughts, Western Force? I don't know. I don't think they're the greatest in the Super Rugby. But apparently they're playing Hurricanes this week. He's not playing, so there'll probably be a couple of games before we see him out here. Maybe people will tune in just for that.
It's gonna be all uphill for him. As athletic as he is, if you look at recent years and you've seen guys who've struggled to make that transition, RTS, Sam Burgess,
Benji.
Benji Marshall, when he was, he came across to the Blues and those abysmal performances that he had. And those guys are quality rugby league players, quality athletes, quality rugby league players. Yes, they're able to get up there and match the fitness, but man, there's just so much nuance in rugby union that makes it completely different to rugby league. And like when Sam Burgess went across and then England wanted to use him as a centre after he'd been like a lock / prop.
Prop.
It's like, they were trying to figure out where to put Burgess, number 8, flanker. He doesn't know the nuance in all those positions that you need to know. It breakdowns, the different roles. Like rugby union it's like a scientist's game. You need to know all of those different things and combinations of things in order to be a really effective rugby union player. Rugby league, man, is a simple man's game, and there are certain things.
Being a great checkers player to go and try and play chess.
Absolutely, like rugby union is absolutely chess compared to rugby league's checkers, and that's not a slight on rugby league. It's just that rugby league's way more simple to follow. It's way more simple in terms of rules and structure and how it's all set up. There's just too much going on in rugby union at the moment, and I feel like Western Force is probably a good place for him to land because that team's not so flash in the Australian division or whatever it is. Anyway, so it's an uphill battle for him. He's probably lucky to have landed somewhere after the debacle with the Storm and leaving Para. So, good on him for finding somewhere to get paid to play. Will it be exciting and big, massive draw card for those Western Force fans? Probably not. Like, I thought RTS was going to have this massive impact when he came across to the Blues and that. And it was like completely not really. Like it was this massive
faces gone.
Man. It was like, nah, not the same impact, or not the impact that you really wanted him to have, that you kind of expected a player of his caliber to do. But again, like completely different sport. So yeah, good on you, Lomax, but good luck, mate. It's not going to be how you were texting your ass around the rugby league, and like you're going to be expected to do stuff in union if he's going to be playing on the wing, which I assume is going to be the only position that.
Yeah, probably be the easiest for his transition, I think.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Nice. Speaking of players changing codes, Will Warbrick from the New Zealand Sevens into Melbourne and now announced for next year coming over to the Warriors. RTS, DWZ, both off contract at the end of this year. Unknown what's the plans. I think Roger did mention maybe at the end of last year he wouldn't mind re-signing. So your thoughts with Warbrick coming across?
I guess it all depends on what happens this year, right? Like Dallin is probably looking to have a bit of a bounce back year compared to what happened last year. He was in and out with injury, and then when he did come back, like he got exposed a few times on the wing there, and they were scoring quite easy tries, drawing him in real easy, and then just scoring on his wing.
Because he did a really good job on the weekend cleaning that up.
Yeah,
like
hard out.
Like he was getting a good turn on those chases, but not digging in too early. So sorry.
So that's what I mean, man. Like those boys might be coming off contract, but Dallin, he's looking to have a bounce back year, and I was super encouraged by that first round game. Like, it was interesting. The Roosters have a player like flipping Daniel Tupou in the wing, the tallest ass person who. I don't understand. I just do not understand why they don't just kick to his corner every time. Like,
maybe it's too boring because they started doing it at the end of last year, and it was like Sammy Walker just kicked and he scored. Like, and I was like, just keep doing that. And then I was like, it's too boring. Let's get fancy again. It's like, God, it's like just win.
Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts. And I just feel like Dallin just really shut that down. I don't know whether that was in respect of DWZ and what he could do in the air or how he could counter that. But man, he played really well, I thought. And those deficiencies that you saw creep into his game last year, I didn't see any of that this year. There was no rushing in. He was staying on his man. So, Roger as well, similar. Like, if Rog has a real kick-ass year this year and, Warriors HQ wants to re-sign either of those boys, it's going to be congested, man, for positions, especially those outside back. You've got Khan Pereira, who's come over, who's currently biding his time in reserve grade, who he didn't sign to come over and just play more reserve grade. He wants to crack the NRL squad. So there's competition for spots. And I don't know. Like, Will Warbrick is a beast. He's kind of proven himself at the Storm. Has he proven himself more to be more valuable than DWZ and RTS are currently for the Warriors? I don't know. Like, that's hard to sort of gauge, and it all depends on how they all play this year. Like, if he plays out of his skin, stays injury free, because he was hampered by injury last year too at the Storm. I don't know. I really want Rog to play really well this year. He's just been a fan favorite for a while. He brings up his 150th match this week. So yes, that would be one for the ages. I feel like those boys are going to have a good year. Like, we're buoyed by the fact that the Warriors kicked ass in that first round game. So, but I mean, if Warbrick comes over, I'd be happy for him to take one of those spots. He's proven himself at the Storm, and he wouldn't look out of place at the Warriors on the edge either.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, like you're saying, how the boys go and if they re-sign, but just in terms of that aerial threat, like that is something that we've got Leka that kind of comes in and plays that little role when he, goes for the board like a Eli Katoa, more closer to the middle. But yeah, we don't. Yeah, I guess Dallin does. Like Dallin sometimes, but he's more just that flyer. So yeah, maybe it brings something different. Maybe that's something that Webby wants to explore. So yeah, wish him all the best. Hopefully has a good season and he comes over ready to go, no injuries. So we'll see how that goes. In other transfer news, it's all transfer news. But Barney, we've been seeing this was coming for a few weeks, that he's family reasons he needs to go back. So he's going back close to family, his wife's family, over in Brisbane, to the Broncos. So he signed a decent deal there, like a 2-year, over $2 million. So he's a $1 million player. So they're really seeing him as the replacement for Payne. Like, it looks like they've pretty much taken Payne's pay packet and given it to him to say, come and fix our team at the front when he goes. So your thoughts? We spoke about it last week if he ended up at the Bronx, and seems that's the way it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, off the back of last week, and seeing the depth, I don't know. Like, that's what round one, and Barney was huge for us last year. But yeah, your thoughts of him going to the Bronx?
Well, firstly, stuff you, Broncos. Stuff you. Right up your Eyez cheeks. That's my first thought. We didn't want the Broncos to be where Mitch Barnett landed, but it looks like it's a done deal now. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets to the Broncos and they give him the captaincy. Like, he's just that kind of player. Like, he's probably more of a captain than a Kerrigan. They're going to lose Payne Haas. He's been like a leader of their forward pack. They're going to lose Adam Reynolds through retirement. So, if Ben Hunt decides to retire as well, they're going to lose quite a bit of experience. And Kerrigan really hasn't shown me that much in terms of him being a captain material. Like if it was between Mitch Barnett and Kerrigan, I'd pick Barney all day. Like, that guy's in his time at the Warriors, he's just elevated his game since he came over from the Knights. Like, it's interesting to see players who have done that come from other clubs to the Warriors, and then they elevate into these positions of leadership. So, damn, like it's it's absolutely shitty, sucky news. And, if Si was here, he'd probably talk about how this is just the universe balancing itself out for you fellas slagging off the Broncos and laughing at us when paying us would sign for Souths, giving all these Kaea Kele awards to the Broncos or Broncos players. Good on Mitch Barnett and his family for, securing that deal. It's quite significant money. And he'll do himself justice. Like, I hope he doesn't, because he's going to be playing against us. But fuck, he's going to be the man when he goes to the Broncos, because he's just got that work ethic, that never back down type mentality, and he's gonna fit into like that sort of old school Broncos mold, like who are those old school like dudes that. Kevin Campion came from the Broncos, and he was like that. So he's got that sort of Campion mentality, real rough around the edges. But man, he picks up the respect of every player in that dressing room. So it's shit news, bro. It's tragic to see. But I hope he has a great season for the Warriors when he comes back.
Yeah, definitely. I think hopefully we get to see some of that form from last year when he does join the pack. Like he's only going to add to the Warriors, but suck for us, but huge for the Broncos. Like you can see why they went all out. Like to all of those points you mentioned, like with Reno going, that's a leader walking straight in to help all of these young guys, because. As much as Payne, Haas, and all these other guys are amazing, they're all kids. Like they're all young and just grown with this club over these last few years. So they've had to grow up quite a bit. Going through the pain of a wooden spoon to getting the high of a premiership. So having someone like Barney walk in and just settle these guys, I think it's going to do wonders for even Carrigan. Like you're saying, like he is just a workhorse, and so getting kind of that off his shoulders of trying to lead the forward pack and actually having a leader in Barney, I think, that'll really, maybe he gets the co-captain with Barney to, kind of make that work for them. But, yes, we'll keep giving them Kaea Kele now, all that kind of stuff. In some positive news, Ponga has registered to the IRL and asked for a change of representation to go to represent the Kiwis, which they've approved. Awesome news. Your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, you could see it coming, really. Last year when Mal Meninga was trying to name his squad, and he had named Ponga in his squad, and then Ponga all of a sudden withdrew himself and said he was like niggly injuries or whatever. And then it was around that time that the rumors were swirling about him wanting to change allegiance, but he's playing coy because he still wants to represent Queensland, right? And at the time, the rules hadn't changed. So, he's wanting to play Queensland, but deep down, he's like, I don't really want to play for Australia.
Yeah. And it wasn't until keeping that stance.
Yeah, hard out. It wasn't until they made that distinction that he'd only represented Australia in the nines. And so he hadn't actually made a 13-a-side debut for the Kangaroos. And so when I heard that and read that, I was like, man, this guy ain't going to play for Australia. He wants to play for Queensland, absolutely, but that doesn't then automatically translate to him wanting to play for the Aussies. And, I think he was probably more, they want me across as really injury cover. So they had like, what's his name from the Panthers? Who's a fullback for the Panthers?
Dylan Edwards.
Edwards, they have Tedesco, and they've got Reece Walsh. They've got a whole lot of fullbacks that at the time were probably ahead of him. So it was more, you don't really want me there. You just kind of want me there in case shit happens. And I don't think I'm an in case shit happens player.
Lock me in.
Yeah. So, man, good on him. They've changed the rules. Now he's declared for the Kiwis. It makes it interesting because the Kiwis have already sort of got Keanu Kinney in there for the last few games. They've had Chance sort of rep there as well. so it gives the Kiwis options. I'd put Kalyn in there, man. Just because he's still in his prime, and Kenny still has, as good as Keanu is, and I love Keanu.
He's still got years, so.
Yeah, man. There's so many years for Keanu to still develop his game, to work himself into like really owning that jersey, so that when they go to naming a Kiwi squad, the fullback is Keanu. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, though. But that time probably isn't now. Like if you're looking at Keanu and you can see Kalyn Ponga is available as well, then I'd probably pick Kalyn Ponga, and that's no slight on Keanu and his game at all. But you could still utilize him off the bench or however. He could still cover for injuries. I just feel like he's still in his prime, and I'd really love to see Kalyn get out there and tear it up with guys like Dylan Brown, Jerome Hughes, all those kind of guys that are playmakers that can put Kalyn into gaps and far out. He'd be awesome. So great. That's great news, man, coming out of Aussie. It's about time they have some sort of positive news that comes out of rugby league players, and not just all the terrible shit that you kind of see quite frequently.
And such a cool time, like because that rule change kind of came out of nowhere. Like there was all the crying last year about the origin eligibility and all of this stuff. And then they kind of went fully the other way and just made it even easier. Like, oh no, you can still represent if the other rules apply. So I think it's like a perfect rule made for Kalyn, and just the submission, that's the words he wrote. Just saying that he felt like that belonging whenever he's with the Māori team and the Kiwis. So like you're saying, the writing was on the wall and it showed. So good on him for staying true to what he wanted to do. Easier to just be like, oh well, I'm stuck, I have to play Aussie. And so man, such awesome timing with the World Cup at the end of the season as well. So great news for us, Kiwis. Let's jump into the wrap of the game. It was a lot of games, but we'll pick out our WAS game, Wilson. Just your thoughts. Before I jump into that, man, just back on Tana Boyd. I heard earlier in the week, it just shows like him as a player, but also what the WAS is building. So the Titans actually offered him to come back. They were looking to bring him back to try and help, fix up their problems in the halves. And he said no. And so he was saying no when he's still like a New South Wales Cup guy. So that's how much belief, he's got in what's building here. So that was real cool, awesome to hear. Like he had, being the New South Wales Cup guy, knew that Luke Metcalf's ahead of him. Got an offer to come back and fix the Titans, yet decided to stay here. And so that's credit to I guess him and what's happening at the Warriors. And what's happening is great. I know it's round one, bit Mimika because it's such a great win for a round one against the Roosters. But like some of the positive signs you saw out of the game was outside of just Tana Boyd's brilliance.
Off the field, bro. Man, Mount Smart was pumping. Game one sold out. Like families everywhere, fans everywhere. The array of Warriors jerseys were all out on full display. They've got some good things going at Mount Smart, or what is it called? One Go Media. And Stace talks about it in terms of like the product, and you see the things that Rugby Union now are trying to sort of replicate at their home games, which you're already seeing at like NRL games. Well, the Warriors at least. Like I don't know what the Australian games are like and the atmosphere and all of that. But man, the WAS, their home games are amazing. Their halftime shows, they got that full laser light thing going on.
Yeah.
They've got that.
That was a nice surprise. I didn't even know he was coming out. I was like, oh,
getting Savage to come out. Gets you right in the feels. And, hey, scan this QR code so that you hold your phone up and it becomes part of the
that was
laser light.
I wasn't listening, and then I was like, what's happening now? I was like, So how come everyone's got their Kirafuris out?
Yeah, because they scan the QR code and then your light is part
Goes
of
in
the
sync with
laser
the
light show.
yeah.
So if you look across, you can see everyone's phones going
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
And I was
because I was
like,
watching,
wow,
hey, is
cool.
everyone umming? Then I saw the guy in front of me, he's got his phone, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, must be an app.
No, pay attention, man. You got to see it up on the big screen. And I was too slow. I put my thing up to scan it, and then the screen changed. And I was like, oh, dang it. But, man, all of that sort of stuff off field, it makes you want to go back to the home games the next time. The on-field performance from the boys.
Oh, it's FOMO as well.
That's
It's
the
like,
stuff.
make sure I get to the game. If it's a home game, I want to go. Can't miss out.
Yeah, hard out, man. It is the hottest ticket in town, those Warriors games. And if they're pumping up performances like they did last week against the Roosters, far out. Like this, I think this weekend's probably tomorrow's game's gonna be a little bit tougher. Because we always find it tough against the Raiders. But I still have faith, man, that we'll get one back from the Raiders. Now they're a different team now. They've got some young halves in there as well. But the Warriors at home are just tough to play against. Last week you really saw that. The Roosters on paper, man, they were favourites heading into that game. And the Wires were out. They were not favourites. They were not the favourites to win, even though it was their home game. Man, on paper, 1-13, that Roosters team looks unstoppable. I just felt like when Naufahu came off, their forward sort of momentum just slacked a bit.
Cyril
Wong when he came on. Yeah, man, Cyril Wong when he came on, Spencer not being there. It wasn't the same sort of impact. And we talked about it last week that the benches are the ones that are going to change it up for the Warriors, and far out Demi and Licker coming on.
Touch.
First touch of the ball, and he scores a try. That's the kind of impact that you want from your bench. And you can have the guy that just comes on and just does the same as the guy that come off, but you want those X factor players like Licker who come and just pull Eyez plays like that off, and then they score. It's funny because during the week, the New Zealand coverage has got like Monty Beefham and all the guys that you're used to hearing on our coverage. But when you see all the highlights and you see that it was Blocker Roach again, who's commentating over in Australia, it's like,
I wish I got the Blocker Roach commentary.
Blocker was just being Blocker. I sent that link to you and Stace about that guy who was watching is, what is Blocker on? This guy needs to shut the fuck up. Like, every time the Warriors score a try, it's like, it's to be expected. Oh, the Roosters score a try, and that was an amazing try. And I'm like, this guy's got nothing positive to say about the Warriors at all. He's such a hater. But, I mean, back to the game, lots of positives. I really enjoyed Chance, picking moments from the back there. And then he scores that try. I thought Aaron Clark, he's just picked up from where he left off last week, man, and he was the man. And those guys, when they came back on, kind of steadied the ship. There was that patch in the middle where it looked like the Roosters were sort of making a bit of a comeback. Yeah. And then they brought Fish back on, Aaron back on, and then it just sort of steadied the ship a bit, and he scored tries. Like, it was looking a bit funky, but man, I like those try assists that Rog got to Chanel Harris-Tavita.
Those are,
because those came off the back of some terrible Tana Boyd passes that went to ground, just bounced up, and it was just fortuitous bounce. And then Rog just had the presence of mind and the skill to draw all the players in, and just a neat little pass into Chanel, and he scored his double off Rog passes. So there were probably a few things that went our way, but one thing I did notice was that, unbelievable as it sounds, but holy shit, that referee and then the video refs, like, those calls went all the Warriors' way. Like, you were like, shit.
That's what
it
I
looks
was
like. It looks like it's. Yeah, I was thinking
that chance one. I was like, that's no. We're not gonna get that. When they break it down, and then he's regathered, he's grounded. And he's like, how do we get those?
Same with Pompey's one. So when Pompey went over, and I was there's a 50-50, man. They slam down tries. It's either a try or he's lost control. But then it was like, oh no, it doesn't look like there's any separation. But I don't know. They've given
And they were
those no
quick looks
tries
as well,
before,
so yeah.
and then I was like, there is downward pressure. Try. We have a decision. And I was like, whoa! Every call went the Warriors' way, which was super unusual. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there with my
May it long
sister-in-law,
continue. May it continue.
man. And she's like, oh, like she was going off to next to me. Oh, you can't see that, can't see that. And then after ages, like it looked like Sam Walker was getting ready to take the kick. I'm like, see, better late than never. Gotta have faith.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it took them ages to get us some of those third ref calls, but man, you know, it was such a good game to start the season with. Yeah, man, long may it continue because there were lots of positive signs that come out of there. Not too many scary injuries for the boys, so I thought that was good. Like we came out of that game pretty unscathed. So
yeah. We'll bounce straight to this week's game. We won't preview all of them, but just in terms of the Warriors game, what are you looking for them to improve on, especially against the Raiders? Like the Raiders, that's like the beginning of their game, like 11 minutes without the ball. Like that's good, like for them to fight back that game, because I think that's the biggest thing. Some of the other talking points has been the momentum, like just with these new 6-again rules. Like you saw these blowouts, and I don't know if that's going to continue. Where once the team's on top, you know, it's really hard to pull that back, especially getting killed with the defense and those 6-agains. You saw that's where the Broncos started struggling with their mistakes and constantly on the back foot. But like you said, the Raiders are built different. So going 11 minutes under that and then getting back up to claw it back in extra time. Man, these guys picked us last week, so I'm going to be making sure Ricky hears me behind that bench. But in terms of the boys on field, what are you looking? Were you hoping that they pull the Raiders apart?
It's always tough against the Raiders because they always do the small things like the Warriors really well.
Yeah.
Like their completion rates are really high. They play a lot of no-nonsense football, which is similar to the Warriors, right? Like the Warriors don't do that whole flashy offloads every bloody play anymore. They're playing high percentage football. They play to complete their sets and to just grind down the opposition, which is what coaches want you to do. You know, that's generally the rule of thumb type style, right? And if you kind of get ahead slowly on the scoreboard and keep ticking over, then the scoreboard starts to play against the opposition. You know, time, they're down by 12, there's 5 minutes left or whatever. And then that's when teams start pulling off ass, like second-hand plays to try and, you know, like the Broncos did in that Challenge Cup final, 3 tries in like 5 minutes or whatever it is. You know, similar to Manly in the game against the Raiders last week, they pulled off those 2 tries where it looked like for all money, the Raiders were going to cruise into that victory. Things to probably improve on. Let's see, what was the missed tackle stat count? I didn't see what it was.
I think we did well indeed.
The Raiders were 36 missed tackles last week. And the boys in our game against the Roosters, I don't feel like we missed that many, or we did.
47, damn.
Oh, 47. And 20 of those is probably Kurt Capewell. For all of the good things that Capewell gives us, it's his missed tackles that are they're gonna be really costly. And against a team like the Raiders, that again, similar to us, they'll pounce on any mistake that you make. And so if there's anything we need to improve, man, it's probably that missed tackles stat. Probably our completion rates. Oh no, our completion was about the same as the Raiders last week. So, you know, it's going to be really even. Conditions are probably I don't know what conditions going to be like, but it has been raining here in Auckland the last couple of days, so it might be a bit of wet weather footy tomorrow, because it's been Kaea-ass weather these last 24 hours, and I think it's going to continue to be raining tomorrow. So there you go. So that kind of stuff rain is a great equalizer. So the team that can play to the conditions a bit better, be a bit more compact. I feel like that's the team that, actually, now that I talk about missed tackles and I look across at our team list, Alilea Tawa, man, I love you, brother, but you
I
need
don't know
to
if he was
work
off or
on
just,
your defense
yeah.
because your attack, I don't mind. I'll take your attack. But your
But yeah, his
defense
D, I don't know
is
what's going on.
lacking, bro.
Yeah.
And if we can tighten up that, like all the stuff that Dylan was doing and leaking tries last year, man, it's that muddy has sort of crept across to Alilea Tawa. So, yeah, that's probably one area we really need to, because Capewell's missed tackles, even though he's going in to try and make an effort. Alilea Tawa just got palmed off, man. He was getting palmed off, like one-on-one situations, and I was like, oh, he's silly. Come on, Ali, you need to lock that down because up against Simisasangi, Sebastian Chris, those guys are a good centre combo. So if there's a weakness that we need to change up for our game tomorrow against the Raiders, I think it's that defensive edge type defense. Because if you've got Ali out there and then you've got Kurt Capewell on the same edge, it's like there's over 60% of our missed tackles all on the same side. Looking forward to the game though. I still think the boys can get up for it. Raiders come into it. They've got no Baali'i. He's off with the HIA. So, they get Morgan Smithies to start. Who's in for them? Tomoko, Owen Petty, Roddy. And that's interesting too because Tomoko was their starting centre last year.
Yeah, interesting. They brought Sasangi in now.
Yes, Sasangi is now not coming off the bench and providing the impact that he was last year. And you're right, that is interesting because that's a formula that Ricky has changed up. Tomoko was their starting centre for like the majority of their games, right up until them winning the minor premiership. So who knows, that change, I don't know if he's just still testing it out, but we're now round 2 and he's named Simisasangi in there again. So it'll be a good game. Looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, it should be good, especially that matchup. Tapane and Fish. Fish look real good. Like coming back to, like we were saying, he wanted to, like, didn't have the best year last year, a few niggly injuries, and it just seemed like the captaincy, but like maybe just not having a co next to his name. He really led, like you said, that difference he made when he came back. Like that little lull. And he's gone back to Fisher Wold. So unfortunately, Barney went Bronx, so we couldn't get the Bang Bros back together. But Fisher's the goods at the moment. And Jackson's Fords he was really good. Like I see they've fixed his hands because all those balls that same line he was running last year.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the 1.2 handling errors average to kick in.
Nah, he was great as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Fords. That's going to be a real matchup because I guess that's where Ricky prides his boys is in the Fords and their fitness. So he really draws these guys. So it's going to be a great one. It's going to be an awesome one. We'll touch on that soon. Let's get into the Eyez Kalava Cup first round done. Results are in. You took out Vaea Bronx pretty easily, mate. Like you said, no captain. He had no hope. So nice win there. God Squad taking out Clutch City. Clutch City came in with no captain as well. So that was another easy win. I took on Tryhards Danny Phipps. I said it was another easy one. No captain. Those Broncos let me down on my team, man. And Mitch Moses is my captain. Got a very horrible 70. That's already doubled. So, Danny gets to sweep the leg on the first round against me. It's a horrible loss. I was like, can I change any of these players between the rounds? Like, nah. Golden Elite's nice little pickup. Golden Elite's on the board taking out Mandingo. Mandingo's done it many times, so he's not too fussed. He doesn't mind losing in the early rounds and making a comeback. And this year or the next takes out All Madden Stace, coming up with some nice scores there and taking out Cam Swart. So nice first round. Any changes to your squad this week, mate? You happy with what you put out there? Made any tweaks?
I've brought in young Noah Martin from the Raiders.
Oh, nice.
He was outstanding. I don't think he'll get 2 tries every game, but if you're looking at a player that had really good base stats, and he's going to be locking that position down with Nichols having picked up an injury in the reserve grade for the Raiders last week. Yeah, so he's one that I've brought in, and so I'm partnering him up with Dylan Lucas in the edge there.
Nice.
Who else did I bring in? That I think is the only change, really.
Yeah, nice.
I know. I brought Trindle in to cover Lockie Galvin, who was out.
Oh, nice pickup. Oh, were they already in your bench, or can you make a trade?
No, Trindle was
just sitting up there.
Was sitting out there.
Wow.
As
Come on. Oh,
I picked him up. I was like, as soon as the lockout went, I was like, Trindle, straight in there.
Hey, I try to do those like miss the beat, and then when I try to switch up my team, it's just scraps left. I was like, hey, where's all these guns? I saw all these dragons that got good scores, all these knights. I was like, I'm gonna go clean up those guys that got missed.
Too slow.
Gone. They're all gone.
Too slow. You gotta be faster than that, bro.
Just like draft left of the caps.
Some kicking this concrete bowl, man.
Round 2, we'll see how we go in round 2. Some new matchups, so we'll see how those go. I'm up against All Madden, who missed out last time, so hopefully I can get one up. But he's got a nice lineup, so see how it goes. The Tigers get a game this week, so let's go jump into our previews, Wilson. Let's just give some scores and predictions on what we got. The game kicking off in about 20 minutes. This one, how are you seeing the Bronx versus the Eels? Seeing a Bronx bounce back, or got some more hate to dish out on those souls?
Well, if I'm being honest, like Para are looking to bounce back too, and I think they were hard done by last week when, due to HIA injury, they brought in their 18th man, which then rotation, it screwed up their rotation, and young Sam Kuvaiki didn't get on the field. So I think that played a lot into them getting hammered by the Storm last week. And so I think if they can avoid that stuff and they stick to what their proper rotation would be, because love Bolo, man, but he was knackered last week. Junior was making some stupid like offloads out the back that went to ground, and then like the Storm players bounced out. He was just doing dumb things, and probably because he was tired as shit and he didn't have enough of a rest. And then like I'm not convinced with their forward pack rotation anyway. Like I don't rate people like Kaltunga. Kitione Kaltunga, I think, is, I don't know. He's just a little bit, half a step behind where I think he should be with the other back rowers in the comp. And they're going to be hard up against it with this Broncos pack, who are looking to bounce back. But in saying that, the last 5 games, Broncos have won 4 of those in head-to-head. But the ones who won it last year was the Eels. The Eels.
And they got those games in them, man.
That's what I mean, man. Those crazy head-to-head games. And it's early enough in the season where you haven't quite gotten rid of that rust in your game. And so if there's a time to take out the Broncos, I think, while they're vulnerable now, like they are vulnerable, they're looking to bounce back from that heavy loss last week. They scored the big far more. All of their offensive efforts last week just fell flat and didn't come to amount to anything. They're coming off the back of that World Club Challenge loss. There's all sorts of turmoil happening sort of behind the scenes that you're kind of hearing these leaked stories about Madge and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, oh shit. So do they have the resilience to bounce back after getting hammered with that egg score last week? They should on paper, but are they going to be like the Roosters on paper last week against Warriors? Are they going to turn up? I don't know, man. So for me, I'm picking the Eels in this game.
I don't know. You're pretty convincing, man, because there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Like, this is, it'll be interesting. Like, I think this is going to be a good game. Like, I'm excited. I'll stay up for this game tonight because, there's a lot for the Bronx to, they win this game and then it kind of, all the noise goes away. I think that's all they need is just to get this win to stop all the noise. But until they can do that, and so it's round 2, and no one should really care. But I think they need to really put it on for tonight. Unfortunately, I'm with you. Like, I feel like it's there's so much just happening, and every time I look up at my screen and just see that stupid ass new logo, I don't see it happening. So I'm going with the Eels as well. Wise Raiders, we've already spoken about it. So put your pick in. You see the boys getting it done?
Yes. That's an easy one for me.
Roosters Rabbits. Nice one off the Rabbits last week. That left edge clicking like we were saying. So Roosters really need to tidy up to get ready for these games for the Rabbits left edge.
Well, I'm picking the Bunnies for this one.
Yes.
This is most likely the game that Alex Johnston's going to break that try-scoring record. And so I know that's not the incentive, but I reckon the Bunnies supporters are going to empty out Souths, man, and they're going to come in force to Allianz to be part of that. Like, they're going to be part of an AJ try-scoring. So, hard out. So, wherever the Rabbitohs are this week's game against the Roosters, and then maybe next week if he doesn't, they're going to get quite a bit of support to see him over the line and get that record. So, I was terribly unconvinced with DCE's debut in the Roosters jumper last week, and just their inability to use players like Tupou. He's like one of the oldest players in the comp, but he still has that aerial dominance. They just don't use him, and I don't understand why. I feel like this is a different Bunnies team, like completely different. Latrell looks fit. He looks fresh. He looks energized playing in at centre. Man, so, you got Cam Murray back. Man, bloody Stretch played out of his skins last week. Like, he scored that double in that game. So I was like, what the heck? This guy comes in out of the Blues, Campbell Graham, and like he was injured for most of. And then he scored like that double. Yeah, so I was like, this guy. So they got some combinations there that I think are doing really well for them. And Jai Gray's electric, man. I love watching Jai Gray play. He's really good. He gives me Reece Walsh with vibes, but more in control of his electricity. He's more in control of his electricity, whereas Reece Walsh is just like a bolt of lightning, and it could be out of the blue. It could be consistent bolts of lightning, or it could just be one, and then that's it. So for me, I'm going to pick the Bunnies in that game.
No, I agree. I see the Bunnies running away with that. But should be a good matchup Friday night. Good viewing. Jumping over to Saturday, the Tigers, first time we get to see them in the regular season, up against the woeful Cowboys. So I'm picking the Tigers at home. Like, after everything they've been saying in the off season and what I've seen of the Cowboys, I think Benji's boys might do it. Your
I'm picking Benji's boys too. I really think those guys have got real purpose about them this year. And just watching a few of those clips that you've seen Benji sort of talking to the boys and, we're trying to build something here at the Tigers. And if you're not about it, there's F and door. And I was like, that's what I want to see in a coach, man. And, I juxtapose that with that clip that the ABs sort of released after Scott Robertson got made the coach. And he was talking about, what's the most important thing? And then, like, he was asking the boys, what's the most important? It's in here, right? It's in here. And then I was watching that clip and I was like, is this meant to be like satire or is this an actual coaching session? But it was an actual coaching session. He was like, what's in here, boys? It's got a match. What's in here? I was going, I am not inspired at all.
I'm not inspired. I'm just really confused now. I want to figure out this riddle you're telling me.
It was off the back of that video that I wrote that column piece that I did. And I was like, I'm unconvinced, man. I'm not convinced by this guy. But on the flip side, he is the absolute opposite. Like, Benji instills that sort of inspiration in his players. And people know that he bleeds that orange of West Tigers, man. Like, he bleeds orange, Benji Marshall. He's been there, done that. He loves the Tigers. And so, why wouldn't you want to play for a player of his caliber, of his eliteness? And I think Jerome Luai, man, this is his chance to really... Never mind, Galvin.
Getting rid of that
Look
whole
at me.
6-7 thing, like he was like, look, I'm gonna play 6. That's fine. Like, so I think that's gonna help him too. Just play his natural game and not have to try and be this. I'm a paid number 7 money, so I have to play number 7. So I think that should just help, ease up his game and just unlock him too. So let's go Tigers.
Hard out. And they got Kai Pearce-Paul partnering Fainu in the second row, so I feel like they're going to unlock Kai Pearce as well.
Yeah, he seemed like he
wasted it tonight.
Hard out. I reckon, Luai will do a lot more with him. Dragons and the Storm. The Dragons at home, they have a bit of a knack to kind of, just bounce back. Like, games that you just don't expect them to. All of a sudden, they start playing real tight. We saw it at the back end of last year, some of their games, but the Dragons, that was their curse last year, losing tight games, and they lost the one over in Vegas. So they've had a bit of a break, regroup, and now they're back after a week off up against Storm, who's, man, they were on fire against the Eels. I'd like to say the Dragons bounce back, but I'm going Storm on this one.
Storm 13 plus, probably 20 plus.
Okay. Well, there goes that builder. Panthers Sharks. Let's get straight into that one. Both coming off from good wins, and the Sharks. They had the Titans. Trindle looked good.
Yeah, this would probably be close to the game of the round, like this one, and I reckon the Warriors game tomorrow, just because they're quite similarly, they're very similar opposition. So it's tough to call those really close games. And I feel like the Sharks can get up for this one against Panthers. But you know what? After what the Panthers did to the Broncos last week, I don't think they're going to let up. Like, this is not going to be the Panthers last year that were bottom last after 12 rounds. They're like, no. Let's show this competition who we are. It's like after one year, the Broncos have won it, and now all of a sudden, these people have forgotten about us. We're going to put some respect back on our name.
Yeah.
These guys are coming for blood. Like, this Panthers team now doesn't have that pressure of being the reigning premiers or they've been to so many grand finals in a row. This is fresh Panthers now, starting from scratch. And man, that's a Panthers team that you don't really want to come up against, because they're like, oh yeah, sweet. These guys all of a sudden think you're like the Broncos, it's like, oh yeah, these are the current premiers, huh? Oh yeah, let's see how that goes. And so I feel like this is going to be, it could be a Panthers hiding against the poor Sharks. Like, they're probably buoyed from their game last week where they're like, yeah, we did really well last week. And it's probably going to come crashing to earth, I feel. So Panthers for me.
Man, very convincing tonight. I was only because of my pick as well, because I had the Panthers not even in my 8, and I was another forgot about Dre guy, because you're right. Like, these guys have just, it takes a lot, like, to go back to back, but then to go back to back, but then to go 4 in a row, it's like, well, how do you do that? How do you find the hunger? And these guys seem to find it. Then they dropped off last year, and it's like, yeah, they've lost it. But it's like, no, these guys knew how to get hungry like 4 years in a row. Now they haven't eaten for a year, so it looks like these guys want to come and eat everything. So, I was impressed by Trindle and Nico. So I'm still gonna stick, and I'm gonna back the Sharks to upset these Panthers, keep them out of the 8. Back my core. Manly versus the Knights. Manly didn't look. I don't know. Like, that was a hard game, that Raiders, a real arm wrestle, but the Knights looked impressive. Like, just all those new combinations, they seem to click. They're without Fletcher Sharp, but Sander Smith did a great job. Like, just that's who they were kind of running in the trial season, and then kind of when he stepped in from the second half, seemed to work well, as that with Dylan Brown as well. Yeah, it's probably a pretty even one. I'm going Knights. I was really impressed. Your thoughts?
I'm picking the Knights in this game. I really enjoyed that combination of Ponga and Dylan Brown. Like, it'll be a little bit different without Fletcher Sharp there, yes, but I still think the Knights did enough to convince me that they've been able to sort of figure out how to score points this year. Manly, as good as that comeback was last week, they had to. They just weren't consistent enough. Like, they were up, and then they led in like 24 unanswered points. Yeah. And then they came back, and so yes, they got to golden point and they could have won it, but that kind of performance to me doesn't say consistent enough. Aligns with your wooden spoon call. It sure does. And so, to keep my wooden spoon call alive, I'm gonna go with the Knights for this one.
Right. Let's finish it up. Gold Coast Finns Titans, Queensland derby here. Finns probably not unlucky. They just lost that game at the end there. Probably just out of completion rate. I don't know if the Titans bounce back. I just feel sorry for Tino. Like, he's just out and out heart for that team. But it looks like one of those teams that's unfortunately going to have these guys that go their career with a lot of heart. I just don't know how you fix it. And even if Holbrook's, like, I think he admitted that they didn't. Oh no, that was Fitzgibbon. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't see. Even Keanu, like, I was looking forward to seeing him kind of rip up, but he struggled at the back at times and wasn't really exciting. So I'm going Finns, like, 13 plus on this.
Finns all day. This is definitely a Finns game. Titans, unfortunately, are going to be rock second from the bottom with Manly beneath them.
Nice. I'm just trying to check on our multi last week. We had a Hughes Falongo and a Warbrick double. How'd that go? I don't think we got there.
I have no idea.
These multis have been anyway. All right, let's check out a multi for tonight then. How about a same game multi before kickoff? Oh, no, too late. Let's go for our multi.
Too late. Same game multi for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, nice. Let's go with a Wise multi.
Sure. Anytime try scorers Pompey, Halasima, Noah Martin, and Xavier Savage.
I like it. Halasima. Noah Martin. Who's your last one?
Savage.
Oh, yeah, that could be a nice little one. You want to multiply
It's
it with
4 legs.
4 legs? You want to give a winner as well?
Nah.
That'll wreck the multi. It's too tight. All right, nice. I like it. The 4-leg multi. Pompey, Halasima, Noah Martin, and Xavier Savage anytime. Sekius. Nice. Also, any last words? Anything to share?
Anything to share? Nah, man, nothing comes to mind. Good luck to the wives tomorrow. I'll see you there if you're there, or Stace. See all you hearty Warrior supporters out there supporting your team. Yeah, good luck to the boys.
Nice. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Please, if you've come this far, go check us out on all our social platforms. Go give us a like and subscribe over at our new home, the WesWes Sports page on YouTube. I think WesWes Network's still there. We've just kind of split it. So, yeah, it really helps us out if you give us a like and subscribe to the page. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week, and we'll see you then. For Te Lava, and we'll see you. So, Bobby.